Hello, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. It is I, Jebediah, and the question of tonight is what drives you? Okay, that's the topic of this whole video. Now, if you know me in real life, I have asked I ask this question to basically everybody, and that is, again, what drives you? I'll let it soak in. Also, I'm looking at my laptop notes down here, so if you see me look down, that's why. I'm not just looking into nothingness. I don't know. I watched my video last time, and I was looking down a lot, so I was like, might as well address it. But anyways, the reason why I think you should bother with this question, and yeah, first we'll understand why you should bother, is I wrote this little tagline here. And it is the reason why you should bother with what drives you and reflect on that question is if you are conscious about the things that you do unconsciously, you are better equipped to guide the story that you are partaking in. We'll dive into that later. And anyways, from my experience of asking this question to basically every person that I've met, is they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, man? And at first I was like, I actually don't know. I don't understand what I meant by that. But I think the best way that I can clarify the question is providing my answer to my own question. And what drives me are stories, which is a whole, like if you understand this, you understand who I am as a person and why I do the things that I do, like scratching. Well, what were my influences? Stories. What influenced me is one time in 10th grade, I believe, I was really into this musical called Hamilton. I had a Hamilton phase. And there's this one song there that was very poignant on my very first listen through, which was Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. I haven't listened to that song in years, and I haven't bothered listening to it ever since. But again, the tagline of that song, Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. And I'm like, as a 10th grader, I'm like, what life am I living, man? Like, I'm a sucker for history, and I love the stories of history of these great men who have lived before me, great men and women. And they had a life that was worthy to have stories told about them. You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, hold on. That is worth something, These people lived lives worthy to be told about later on into the future, And I was getting into like podcasts at the time as well. And there's this great podcast. I forgot what it's called now, but the whole topic of it was, the whole reflection of it was, what would people say at your eulogy? When you die, when you're buried, what will people say about you? And that struck out to me a lot. And ever since then, I've really seen my life as a big story. And there's also other influences in it. Like I was in a creative writing class that changed my life. Because again, like I realized that I treat my life and I operate my life as if it is a story that I get to write alongside God, because I'm a Christian. But anyways, my realization was, as I reflected upon this question, not when I was in 10th grade, because I was pretty stupid, still am, is that so much of what people think of us is out of our control. And even while we are alive, our control and other people's opinions of us are so minimal, and it's only by the actions that we do that we have any semblance of control over that stuff and over ourselves. That's what drives me. Stories are what drive me. And I think that's why back in the day, I think it was only like this summer, there was this, or the summer of 2024, there was this whole thing about like, doing it for the dad lore, doing it for the mom lore and things like that. And I'm like, yes, do it for the dad lore, because your life is too exciting, has too much potential for it to go to waste. And that's one of my biggest fears, which is wasted potential. And I'm going to tap in on that another week. But yeah, that's what drives me. Stories are what drive me. And I treat my life as a story. And other people in it as characters. And that's not to demean anybody, I'm only saying that to demonstrate what I mean by the question of what drives you. So yeah. Okay, I had a point here, and I think I'm gonna cut this part out. I'm gonna recollect my thoughts, and I'm gonna be back. Okay, I'm back, and yeah. Anyways, I think everybody should reflect on the question of what drives them. Again, I'm a 20-year-old, and I don't have the grand wisdom of everything, but understanding the why you do something breathes life into the monotony of the what you do, of what you do. I'm gonna repeat that again because I think that line is fire. Understanding the why of your day-to-day life breathes life to the monotony of the day-to-day stuff that you do. Especially for those who are going into university right after high school, or just whatever step of life. I think this is very applicable, but right now I'm a student. I've come off of 2.5 years of mission in Ireland, which was a lot of fun, and I was on the road, and it was an exciting, high-paced, fast-paced life. And then going back into the normalcy of like being a student and stuff is boring. It drove me up the wall. I'm like, there's no fun in this. Therefore, there's no dignity, and therefore my life is useless unless I'm a missionary for life, which is still up to debate. But yeah, point is the point I'm trying to make there was, at least for me, I found myself quite frustrated with how slow my life was, and I didn't understand why I was studying. Like, don't get me wrong, I was like, oh, I need to get this degree so I can get a license and I can work the job that will provide me money. But yeah, when you're stuck in the day-to-day stuff, when you're stuck in the trenches and you don't understand why you're doing it, and how your heart operates or how your heart reacts to certain things, it can bog you down, man, and it can really demoralize you. It demoralized me, and I got into a couple fat ruts here and there. But yeah, just an encouragement. I really beg of you all to reflect on this question. What drives you? And if it's stories, great. But really, think about it. What drives you? I'm not trying to sound like a motivational speaker right now, but understanding how my heart operates and how I view my life has breathed so much freedom into my life. Because if you don't understand what drives you, other people will drive your story. Again, following the train of thought of I view everything as a story, right? And your life is too beautiful for your life is too beautiful and unique for it to be driven by others and for your story to be written by others. Also, following that philosophy of life that I'm behind is, or that I'm following is, at least for me, I can easily get put into subplots that mean absolutely nothing. I can get into filler episodes, you know what I mean? Like those episodes that mean nothing to a TV series you're watching. Like, what's the point of all that, you know? Don't get stuck in subplots. Romanticize your life. Follow every story to its end and extract as much value of it as you can, because our lives are too short and too beautiful and too unique and such a gift for us to throw them away so meaninglessly. So don't throw your life away for subplots that you don't care about. If they're subplots, take passion in them, take joy. Don't be unconscious, don't be a zombie. Our life is too good, guys. If you don't understand what you want or what your ultimate goal is, you'll chase things that will leave you wondering why you chase them. So at least if you're pursuing something ridiculous, understand why you're doing it. I do stupid things all the time. I'm crazy at parties. I make a fool out of myself because I love stories. You know, I want there to be so much dad lore that I can tell my kids one day or my congregation one day, you know? I want there to be so much dad lore that I can just flex in front of my kids or my spiritual kids, you know what I mean? That's why I do a lot of stupid things. I'm like, would that make a good story later? Yes, it would. Of course, I'll do it then, you know? Like, if you know me, I love stories. I love talking about the stories that I picked up for myself, but also the stories of other people. I love bringing glory to others. And there's just something that appeals to me about it. But again, that's all about me. I beg of you. This is my conclusion, okay? I'm going to wrap it up here. Reflect on the question of what drives you. Do something amazing. Find out what drives you And let what you discover be a tool to understanding yourself and equipping yourself to walk confidently into life. Because again, I'm going to cap it off with myself because that's all I know. Because I haven't found anybody who really answered this. Because I don't really give enough people time to reflect on this question. What's my final point here? Yes. At least for me, as a Catholic, as a Christian, I view my story. I said earlier there is like, I get to write my own story. The more I get closer to Christ, to Jesus, the more I understand that my story isn't mine to write. I just take place in God's bigger story, and at least for me, that's a big comfort, because if you truly believe what it says in scriptures, that we have a good and loving providential Father, we're set, man. Like, Christ has won the final victory. There's no reason why we should be afraid of anything. The only thing we should be afraid of is sin and offending our Lord and hurting him because he loves us so much. When I believe that I have a good and providential Father, and that's why I can live my life with so much joy and with so much carefreeness. Like, don't get me wrong, I can get in the dump sometimes, man. It's real, man. It's a struggle out here. Being in your 20s sucks, but it's also the best time of your life. But yeah, I can go through my ups and downs, but I know that God has my back. And it's a big comfort, because not the entire weight of my story is on me. I'm suffering under the weight of eternal glory. His eternal glory, not mine. And I just get to play my part as the fool for Christ. And if none of that resonated with you because you're not a Christian, that's okay. You're still lovely. You're still an amazing person. But all the more reason for you to understand what drives you, because I only have that amount of understanding about my relationship with God and my own faith and myself because I pondered on that question about what drives me. So no matter what you are, denomination of Christian, or if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, whatever you are, if you're atheist, understand what drives you, because it will bring so much value to your life, and you're going to understand why you do the things you do. And I don't know, it allows you to romanticize your life a lot more, which I'll get into sometime soon. Glory be to Jesus Christ. Goodbye, friends.